No one seems to know exactly what they are or where they're coming from. For weeks, New Jersey residents have been raising the alarm about mysterious drones in the sky, and now lawmakers are demanding answers too. Night after night, residents have reported drones, in some cases swarms of them, hovering over homes, government buildings, even military sites. Residents say they're as large as small cars with a hum loud enough to wake you up if you're sleeping.
So I think everybody agrees this is a little bit strange and also deeply ominous the longer it goes on. Hearing that there are strange drones flying around night after night that nobody can identify is scary enough. But when you hear that they're the size of small cars, that becomes very scary because all they need to do great damage is stop flying. Those things drop, and that's a major problem for everyone. But let's see if we can weed through what we've heard and the different information that's been provided to see if we can come to any sort of conclusions about these drones. And we're gonna start with the governor of New Jersey, where many of these sightings have happened. That's Phil Murphy, and here is what he has to say.
We don't see any concern for public safety. That's number one. Number two, having said that, it's really frustrating that we don't have more answers as to where they're coming from and why they're doing what they're doing. We had last night 49 sightings. We think these are overstated, but it's a non-zero number. I was on with the White House and Homeland Security leadership literally at the very top yesterday for pretty much all day. I'm hoping we'll get answers sooner than later. These are apparently very, as I understand it, very sophisticated. The minute you get eyes on them, they go dark. And you know, we're obviously most concerned about sensitive targets and sensitive critical infrastructure. So we've got military assets, we've got utility assets, we've got the president-elect's one of his homes here. This is something we're taking deadly seriously.
And it sounds like they should. That's scary stuff, particularly when you get eyes on them, they go dark. How do they know when you have eyes on them? All very ominous. Well, let's add a little bit more ominous to this. We have Republican Assemblyman from New Jersey, Paul Kenitra, who apparently was briefed by the Department of Homeland Security, who said these drone flights were coordinated and flew in swarms. They were airborne for 6 to 7 hours, which is classified as extraordinary battery life. Yes, if you know drones, particularly drones of this size, that is very extraordinary. They're only seen at night, although perhaps they're easier to see at night with the lights. In addition, the government's most sophisticated radar, the electro-optical infrared camera, could not detect them. Normally, it could detect any drone 1 to 2 miles out and 10 miles for larger craft. And bear in mind, these are the size of a small car, so one would assume they'd be detectable. More than a dozen drones were reported to have followed a 47-foot Coast Guard boat on Sunday night. So again, this has been going on for some time. They've gotten close to both military as well as utility assets, as the governor said. So we have more on this, more thoughts, but what do you make of it?
Yeah, super interesting and weird. John Kirby's not really helping too much with his vague answers, which we'll get to in a little bit. But he says, don't worry, it's not a foreign actor. Then he says, we don't know what they are. Then how do you know they're not a foreign actor? Okay, so the only thing I could guess at here, and we're all guessing, including not just the governor of New Jersey, now the former governor of Maryland, Larry Hogan, he came out too, and he's like, yeah, I saw them for 45 minutes in the sky. And the fact that they're the size of an SUV is amazing. Like, what in the world is going on here? So my best guess is it's the Pentagon. Otherwise, the Biden administration would be freaking out. Like that it's some military program of ours and they don't want to talk about it. That's why they're being so vague. But they're not, but it's so classified, they're not even telling the governors, which is then causing this giant mess.
But why would they be doing it so openly that it's just everybody's seeing it, everybody's reporting it, putting it on TikTok? That seems a little.
Yeah, I have a good answer for that too, because they're incompetent. Like the Pentagon has massive bureaucracy, and apparently they built this amazing thing. If that's true, again, we've entered the speculation part, right? They don't want people to know about it. I mean, there's only a couple of things that are sophisticated enough to put something like that up. Right? So the US government, defense contractors, and maybe Elon Musk, right? These are all wild guesses as to the people who are capable, the things that are capable of putting something like this up. or another government that is an ally of ours. But now you're getting crazy speculation, right? But it's not a rando. Let's put it that way.
Are we maybe talking foreign actors? I mean, look, foreign. How foreign are they talking foreign? This reminds me of a story I watched, which was reported at the time as well, but over Michigan. And there was all these unidentified flying spacecraft. And people eventually, as they've accepted through our government, saying, yeah, there's such things as unidentified flying aircraft. They haven't, I don't know if they've had a chance to say, no, it's not those. We literally have seen them as drones. But also, maybe, I don't know the terminology, but they said they went dark. Once we got eyes on them, like what kinds of eyes? Radar, visual, because Larry Hogan's saying he saw them. What do they mean go dark? What time of, it's one of those things where I'm not sure the terminology means what I think a lot of maybe folks like me who know nothing about what this could be, take that as they go off of the radar, you don't catch them anymore, or visually you can't see them with your own eyes anymore. What does that mean? How does that work? So, considering the fact that our government has acknowledged that there have been these types of things where we used to previously tell everyone who has seen something that's an aircraft that they didn't really see it and you're crazy, they've acknowledged that now. They might as well go ahead and say, rule that out as well, because I'm sure people would start assuming those things as well that haven't seen it. I don't know.
Okay, one more quick thing before we go back to the actual facts. So,
these are guesses, obviously.
Yeah, if aliens were to come, this would be a good time. They're like, okay, the leader of the most powerful nation on earth has dementia, and then the guy coming in, not the brightest bulb. If we were gonna attack, this would probably be the time. Okay, but and they're in a transition phase. But I'm kidding about all that, guys, because I don't think aliens built drones that are very similar to ours. That would be
right. That's what I'm trying to figure out. They've seen them, right? So they've seen them.
Wouldn't they?
Are they pictures?
Perfect form. I don't know. Here, I'm gonna do a slight spin on that. I'm gonna do exactly what Fox would do if Trump were about to leave office and Biden were coming in office. And look at this. They see a weak president coming in and all of a sudden our foreign adversaries aren't scared anymore. They were doing these drones when Biden was still gonna be around, but now that it's Trump, they're breaching our borders. This is the insecurity that the president-elect brings. They do 6 hours on that straight. But anyway, it's probably not what's going on. So with that said, why don't we move to a couple more attempts to explain all of this. We have Republican Representative Jeff Van Drew, very confident about the origin of these mysterious drones.
From very high sources, very qualified sources, very responsible sources, I'm going to tell you the real deal. Iran launched a mothership probably about a month ago that contains these drones. That mothership is off, I'm going to tell you the deal. It's off the east coast of the United States of America. They've launched drones, is everything that we can see or hear. And again, these are from high sources. I don't say this lightly.
At this time, we have no evidence that these activities are coming from a foreign entity or the work of an adversary.
Representative Jeff Van Drew, who is a Republican from New Jersey, was just on the air saying that Iran launched a mothership probably about a month ago that contains these drones, and that mothership is off the coast of the east coast of the United States. Is there any truth to that?
You still stick by your comments that you believe, according to your source, that there is a ship off the coast of the United States, Iranian ship? Or am I reading that right?
Let me be clear.
Please.
I am confident that my source is giving us a real possibility. Could it be something else? Absolutely.
Okay, just dialing back the certainty a little bit. The issue is that we can't look into his theory because, there's no way to find out if there's a ship off our coast. We don't have any spy satellites or planes or Coast Guard or Navy or anything like that. It's just, maybe it's there, maybe it's not. But I will say, in theory, if this was Iran, remember, everybody's saying they want to take out Donald Trump. They're in New Jersey, they've got drones flying around.
There's a 0% chance that it's Iran.
And what about the mothership?
I'll tell you why, other than the fact that that guy's nuts. So Iran has better drone technology than us. And they could build these giant SUV drones that could last 6 to 7 hours, and we never noticed, and the Israelis never noticed. And they brought in a mothership next to America, and we also didn't notice that, and we didn't notice them launching the SUV drones, and we're not worried about it. There's a 0% chance that's true, but there's a much higher chance. Now look, this is speculation, but Who are his sources? Tom Massey said, look, the neocons are trying to start a war with Iran, okay? That is indisputable. Now, the next point I'm going to say is more disputable. Tom Massey has said that basically every congressperson has an Israeli handler, okay? He called them a babysitter. And they trust them implicitly, and then they get cash from them too. No, so technically it's from AIPAC, right? And so could his neocon or Israeli officials be like, oh, it's definitely Iran. Tell everybody on national TV Iran's about to attack you and you better hit them first. I mean, you do whatever you like, but Iran's mothership is right off your coast. Okay, all right. I mean, put aside Israel, that's what the neocons are spreading. And so that's where he's getting that horse crap.
JR?
That's my guess.
Again, so the Iranian mothership, as if you didn't debunk it enough, Cenk. These are the size of small cars or SUVs. You guys have both said two different things, or maybe everyone has been. Now, imagine the size of that mothership. To have a bunch of SUV or small car-sized drones loaded on them and then released above, I guess, the coast of the East Coast, and they headed towards Jersey, to be undetectable and continue to be that way just doesn't make a lot of sense. I hadn't actually imagined that it's our own, Defense Department types of operations or testing or any of that stuff, which may be actually the most, the most plausible thing that we have going here. But I was wondering, I know we do have a old and new president coming back into the White House. What have they been saying from literally the leadership within the country about this? I don't know. We're too busy talking to Jeff Drew or whoever that guy is.
Yeah. Super quick on the Iran thing. It's become the new thanks Obama. Like whenever anything goes wrong, it's like thanks Iran, right? Like, oh, Subway's bread smells a little weird. Thanks Iran. It's Iran infiltrating our subways. Okay, and you better attack them first. Okay, yeah, I got it.
When it's actually corporate America. 100%. Well, why don't we move on to, I know you want to talk about John Kirby. So added wrinkles to the whole drone debacle. Yesterday, White House National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby said, no, they're not actually drones. Don't worry about it, it's all cool. They're manned aircraft being flown lawfully. And I guess just a swarm of manned aircraft following Coast Guard ships, and everybody's cool with that and hanging out at night and just loitering over areas all lawfully. I guess that's what he said. So he eventually got grilled by a Fox News reporter about a letter from Democratic Senator Richard Blumenthal asking for the government to take this matter more seriously. Let's watch.
Upon review of available imagery, it appears that many of the reported sightings are actually manned aircraft that are being operated lawfully. There has been no evidence of any of this activity in or near restricted spaces.
That's not what the senators said in the letter. They said, in fact, that they've been observed maneuvering their critical infrastructure, sensitive locations, including reservoirs and military installations, and cited a concern from law enforcement about public safety threats because a medevac helicopter was prevented from transporting a seriously injured patient for care because of the presence of these drones.
I stand by my opening statement.
Can you make that make more sense? Because I think people in New York and New Jersey see drones the size of an SUV over their house every night and think that that doesn't make any sense.
Certainly I understand why people would be looking at this and being concerned about it. We're concerned about it too, which is why we have the Department of Homeland Security and the FBI, my goodness, looking at this. And we're taking it seriously. We understand that people are concerned. We understand that they got questions. We got questions too. And we're working hard to get the answers to that. What I can tell you as we sit here today, at 2:16 in the afternoon on the 12th, is we haven't seen any indication thus far that there's a public safety risk, and we haven't seen.
The government know what they are.
We are still investigating this. I can't tell you definitively. I cannot characterize for you definitively what these sightings are.
Okay, well, I feel better. We're gonna take our first break. And why are you concerned and why do you have questions? I thought they were just legally flown aircraft. Also, I'm not in the military. I'm not the national security who's it, what's it or whatever, but I have a crazy idea, and here's how I would phrase it. Follow one of them. See where it goes. It has to land eventually. Go to it and then take it and look at it. Or if it's a person in it, talk to that person. Just follow the drones. Send your own drones after the drones.
Yeah, I have a firm guess and a firm conclusion after that. It is, my firm guess is it is almost definitely the Pentagon. And otherwise, none of this makes sense. Do you know when they started appearing? In November. It's December 13th now. And Kirby said in that press conference, "Oh, we've been looking at it ever since. We still don't know what it is, but we're looking at it." So you're sure it's safe, even though you don't know what it is, and you've been looking at it for weeks, but have no idea what it is. Now you know it's the Pentagon, and you're trying to cover it up. Okay, that's my guess. Okay, and my firm conclusion is, if it's not something that the Pentagon is testing or has built, oh my God, our government is so incredibly incompetent.
Yes.
Okay, JR.
If nothing else, that makes it look really bad. Maybe they should offer a $10,000 reward, Crime Stoppers, for anyone they can figure this out. Employ the help of the rest of the society to see if we can figure this whole thing out. There's no urgency, there's no concern, there's no worry. Again, whenever something that normally or casually happens in the country, and it's the wrong type of person or someone that we should be afraid of, or they let us believe that it's someone that should be afraid of, it's all hands on deck. So they may have been better off not saying anything in this particular instance, because it makes them look worse than not saying anything. You're gonna step in front of a microphone, have a whole press conference, talk to this reporter, and she has to keep asking you, can you make that make sense? That's embarrassing, bro. You're here to have a press conference and someone has to ask you, can you make what you just said make sense? Because it doesn't, and it didn't. So what are you here for? Just go away and act like we're gonna speculate on our own, because you've added a conversation where there's gonna be more speculation. It seems like the conclusion maybe it's the fact that there's no concern. We know what it is, and it's something within our control.
Look, the longer they wait, it's amazing it hasn't already happened, but somebody's gonna start shooting at them. You see that thing hanging above your neighborhood night after night after night, government's not saying anything, super suspicious. We're on edge as a nation. We believe literally every crazy thing you can imagine. Someone is going to start shooting at them.
Just like in the movie Don't Look Up.
Yeah.
When they started shooting at the asteroid, right?
Good plan, but.
So yeah, I agree with John. Excellent piece of speculation. Incoming in 3, 2, 1.
It happened in Independence Day. We all know how that ended.